Thursday, everybody. Today's March 26th. Let's go over every game happened on March 25th. Action-packed NBA night. The first game is Atlanta Hawks went to overtime, beat Detroit. Detroit is just a tough team, man. Even without Kate, um, you know they won the last game, and this game it went to overtime. And not much changed for the Hawks. All the starters are must rosters, and they're playing really, really well together. A little bit disappointing for Okongwu here. Had 6 fouls, 3 threes, 11 points. CJ popped off again, 27 points with 5 threes and five. You know, I think him traded from the Wizards to here definitely helped with his fantasy value. Dyson Daniel did his thing, and Jalen Johnson almost another triple double, 12 assists. He is that guy. Now with Trae Young gone, he is going to get a lot of assists. He is facilitating. Next year, he's going to go very high. But if you draft him in the early second, there's not much room to go up. I feel like unless he can really improve his efficiency, meaning the free throws. I think at some point I think he could be a top 5 player in category leagues for sure, and then in points leagues too. For Detroit, Jenkins is a must roster. He had a rough night, 6 turnovers. Not a rough night, I don't think so. 10 assists, 19 points, absolutely must roster. Jalen Duren had a good game as well, 14. Of course, with Kate Cunningham out. Now I'm interested in Tobias Harris as well. Oscar Thompson's minutes gone up. Now Duncan Robinson is a good idea to stream him for threes. Move on to the next one. The Lakers, they beat the Pacers. Yeah, I mean, the modern NBA, scoring 137 points you see that every day. The Sixers, we're talking about the Sixers game, but oh my God. 43 points from Luka, 4 threes, 7 assists, great game. Austin Reeves, LeBron, almost a triple-double. The big three playing super well. Jackson Hayes, it is versus the Indiana Pacers. If Ayton is out, you really need some guy with field goal and rebound and some blocks. And Jackson Hayes starts, we could stream him, ride him when he's hot, I guess. Also depend on who they play next. For the Pacers, they're playing Andrew Nembhard. My God, did I read that right? 19 assists. It is unbelievable. Like some of these numbers the guys are putting up to like this late in the season. If you stream Andrew Nembhard since he came back from injury, he put up like over 30 assists in 2 games. Ridiculous. Of course, he can score a little bit and some threes, so he needs to be rostered for assist. Of course, but he might not play for the next 3 games. Aaron Nesmith had 2 threes. Stream him for threes. That's about it. J Huff, of course, if he's starting playing 30 minutes, he needs to be rostered. Siakam is still playing. He was a minus 20. And Jarvis Walker, with everybody healthy and playing, he's just not going to get a lot of usage. Moving on to the next one. Speaking of high scoring, 137 to 157. This game is without overtime. So there's absolutely no defense being played. Everybody had a good game. Josh Giddey, Trey Jones. They just played Jalen Smith and Nick Richards 7 minutes because I guess they just could not guard Embiid. I would still hold on to Jalen Smith. I think next game, if you're looking for threes, rebound, and blocks, he's still a good guy to stream. Montas had 18 points and a block, 8 rebounds. The rest of the Chicago guys, they don't have too much usage. Good to get Embiid back. If he's on the waiver wire, obviously pick him up. And who else is back? Paul George. And this is a good game to come back for. Hit 6 threes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a block, 28 points. He should have a big finish with no Tyrese Maxey, and some games Embiid might be out. And I don't expect him to average like 25 points, but in category leagues, he's just super solid. A lot of threes, rebound, assists, steals, and some blocks as well. So obviously must roster. Quentin Grimes, I think we can still roster him even with Paul George back. Because Kelly Oubre Jr. is still out, as long as he's getting 30 minutes. And this game Embiid obviously played as well. He had 3 steals and 3 blocks. Last night, some of the numbers these guys are putting up is actually mind blowing. how good these Quentin Grimes just 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Again, they scored 157 points, and Embiid, of course, 35 points. It's just average game for Embiid. I'm interested in streaming Barlow as well, and Edgecombe had a good game as well. Yeah, everybody ate. Moving on to the next game. This game more like a real game. 119-109, and Thunder was at full strength pretty much. They have Jalen Williams, who just straight up disappeared. Shea had a decent game with 8 assists, 2 steals, and 33 points. But Isaiah Hartenstein played all right. Like, he needs to be rostered, for sure. But yeah, their minute distribution is a little bit weird. Like, Shed Holmgren, for whatever reason, only played 26 minutes. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know what happened. I don't expect. Maybe it was a blowout. I don't think so. So yeah, Jalen Williams, Shed Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. They still contribute across so many categories that we need to have them. But again, if this is your last week, you got to be flexible. If this is your last week, OKC doesn't only play one game the next 4 days. Let's say they play on a Saturday, it's okay to let these guys go. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum, just very solid. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. He's now averaging 30, but if you just picked him up on the waiver wire, he's contributing, and he hasn't really missed games. So, Celtics definitely looking good to make a push this year. And the East is just so much weaker than the West. Derrick White had a quiet game, and Jaylen Brown had 31 points. Not much going on with the Celtics. They have the full squad back. The next game is the Miami Heat. They beat the Cavs 120-103. And the guy, we interested the most is Kawhi Ware. Right? Played just 20 minutes when everybody's healthy. Still had 11 rebounds and 13 points and did not miss a shot. So he still had value in category leagues. If you need rebounds, and you just never know when Tyler Hero is going to miss a bunch of games. Same thing with Norman Powell. Both guys played all right. And Davion Mitchell, of course, we need assists, threes, and steals. We go to him. Bam went 1 for 9. Well-rounded game, all around. For the Cavs, James Harden played 42 minutes, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and they got blown out at home. With this trade, Cavs obviously want to go in. And, I guess Garland and Mitchell, they don't fit that well. So, yeah. But they cannot beat any good teams. That's their problem. They cannot beat any good teams. Mobley struggled. I know Jarrett Allen was out, but how much difference is he really going to make if they can't even beat the Miami Heat at home? And, they got blown out. Sam Merrill, if you want threes, you could stream him, of course. Moving on to the next game, the San Antonio Spurs, they beat the Grizzlies 123-1. Any team that play Grizzlies, they're going to have a good time. And Wemby did exactly that. 15 rebounds, 3 steals, and 7 blocks. Last night, some of these numbers, just a casual 10 stock seen by Wemby. When he's having a week like this, how can you really win blocks? It's really impossible. Dylan Harper got the start. Yeah, if De'Aaron Fox is out, I think he has some streaming value. Stephon Castle had 9 assists, but his biggest problem is we see 5 for 9. Devin Vassell could be streamed for some threes, and Justin Champagne is also solid enough for for a 3-and-D guy. For the Grizzlies, Javon Small had played 30 minutes, but how can we really trust any of the Grizzlies guys? Everybody's playing 25 minutes, so unless there's the back-to-back, I really would not touch anybody. They started Taylor Hendricks at the center, who just struggled tremendously, minus 33. Yeah. So unless there's a back-to-back, I would just leave the Grizzlies guys alone. Unless it's Ty Jerome, I think he's super consistent, playing 23 minutes, give you 15 points and 5 assists. Everybody else is, inconsistent. Oh my God, we got a lot of games to cover. The next game is the Washington Wizards. They beat the Jazz. It's funny business. Of course, Are we going to see Alex Sarr and Trae Young this season? I don't think so. Um, Maybe they will play one game and play 20 minutes. So, but does that mean we can trust Bob Carrington? I think the same situation with the Grizzlies. Unless there's a back-to-back. Like Bilo Kalabali. Oh, actually, Julian Reese. I think we can trust him a little bit more if he's starting getting. He usually gets 25 minutes. 17 rebounds is great. A steal and a block. Bilo Kalabali, he's really good, but he plays 19 minutes. So unless there's a back-to-back, I would just leave everybody alone on the Wizards. For the Jazz, well, I think Jazz, the picture is more clear. This guy Benz, he's running the show. So him and Kennedy Chandler, I would stream these two guys for some guard stats. Chandler had a horrible game, by the way. 1 for 6 from the free throw line. I mean, 8 assists is great, but yeah, you want to be a little bit careful with his free throws. Harkless played just 30 minutes. Cody Williams started the center. This is truly funny season. They just experiment different things. They started Cody Williams at the center. Bryce Sensabaugh was also out last night. This is the Utah Jazz for you. So next year, if you're gonna draft Lauri Markkanen or Keontae George, I think they're gonna be overpriced next year, and I don't see them getting. That's a risk, So don't take them early. Don't take them early, because you go into deep in the playoffs, you know they're not gonna play. It's a 90% chance, just because that's how Utah Jazz operate. Ace Bailey, absolutely must roster. Cody Williams, yes. John Conchar needs to be rostered. These guys are legit top 30 players, I think. If they start. But who knows? John Conchar may not play next game. Cody Williams might sit out. Same thing with Ace. All right, move on to the next game. The Timberwolves, they beat the Rockets. It's just bad. KD had a good game, 30 points, 8 assists, 2 steals and block, but he just cannot lead his team. They're not going deep this year in the playoffs. Just don't see it. Reed Shepard started, played just 28 minutes, but absolutely must roster, 2 steals and 2 threes. Amon Thompson, almost a triple-double. Do not draft this guy second round next year. Emperor Şengün had a big game, 30 points, 12. He's been really good this week. Şengün, I think he went like 14 for 17 the other night. Still shot 55% versus Rudy. That's pretty impressive. Jabari Smith Jr. hit 2 threes. He also had a pretty good game, 12 rebounds, 16 points as well. For the Timberwolves, Rudy popping off, 14 rebounds, a steal, and 5 blocks. And this is the value drafting playoff teams, like best players on the playoff teams, because they're gonna play all the way till April. So yeah, with Anthony Edwards out, Randall took on a heavier role, so he took 27 shots and only got 24 minutes. He's not a good first option. He's just way too inconsistent. 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals is good. He's gonna have good games, but more often than not, he has games like this. Jaden McDaniel had a good game, and Dante must roster, and they have to go with Mike Conley too. So if you need assists and threes, I'll also look at Mike Conley, as well as Bones Highland. They have to play him as well. You can stream him for assists, points, and threes, especially if they got a back-to-back. Moving on to the next game. We have the Mavericks. This game is also crazy. Jamal Murray had 53 points. 135, 142. Cooper Flag, he's playing, so I think we're happy. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals and block, great. PJ Washington, of course, need to be rostered if he's playing. Narji Marshall, Max Christie, these guys are up and down, but always a good stream. That's really what's going on with the Mavs. Denver, of course, fantasy is very boring for them because you have freaking Jokic going 23 points. You don't need to say 23, no defense, but 19 assists, 21 rebounds. Come on. Jamal Murray is also ridiculous this game. 53 points with 9 threes. 68% from the field, 100% from the free throw line. Crazy stuff. And then when these two guys have put up numbers like this, nobody else eats at all. Peyton Watson might have some value, but he only gets 24 minutes. But if there's a back-to-back, I'm happy to stream him. Move on to the next one. The Brooklyn Nets. They lost to the Warriors. The Warriors only beat them by 3. It's honestly pretty embarrassing. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't really want to talk about them because who's really getting the minutes game to game? They are really they're doing their best to give everybody 20 minutes. So, yeah, I think maybe this guy Ben, if you're looking for some points and threes, but can we really trust that next game? Who knows? For the Warriors, I think a couple guys we can trust. We can definitely trust Porzingis. He's actually playing, good minutes, and he's playing, this week. I think he played like two games already. DeAnthony Melton must roster, 4 steals, 14 points. Draymond had an okay game, and Pajemski had 2 threes, 22 points. Pajemski is putting up good numbers. So in my opinion, he provided enough value across the categories. Of course, you could use him and Gio Santos too. He had 31 points. It's just very hard to. Warriors kind of same thing. They're playing to win, of course. It's just hard to predict the minutes. That's the biggest thing. Whoever is playing well that night, Steve Kerr is going to go with that guy. The next game is the Bucks. They lost. Of course, they are tanking. Yeah, if you drafted Giannis this year, of course, you're definitely cooked. But you never know. Beginning of the season, those are the things you can't really see. Ryan Rollins, 36 points, 6 threes, great. Kevin Porter Jr. is out, so he should have a really good time. AJ Green only took 5 threes, but he should have enough usage. We definitely want to stream him for threes. Torian Prince is getting minutes. It's hard to trust. Also with this team, you just don't know. Like, first of all, if you stream them for like a couple of days, you don't know if they're gonna play or not, and really don't know their minutes. Jericho Sims got to start playing 29 minutes. If you tell me he's gonna play 29 minutes, I think there's some value there. But this guy Jang, he's been getting a lot of minutes. 16 points, 2 threes, 4 rebounds, 4. So he's okay. I'm okay streaming him for some points, some threes, and some defensive stats, and he gives good enough rebound and assists. He has fairly good size. For Portland, pretty easy work. And Donovan, oh my goodness, Donovan Killigan in the last week or two, he's putting up some crazy numbers. I think one game he had 7 threes. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks. I think there's also one game he had 7 blocks. So yeah, he's popping off. But again, like his minutes is not like, because they have Robert Williams, they're not really playing him 35 minutes. Maybe they will next year. So someone, maybe we should pay attention to if nobody's talking about him. If you get him can get him on the 6th, 7th round, I think that 6th, 7th round, that would be a huge win. I wouldn't take him inside that top 50. Because with these guys, I think there's still, like, who knows next year. Robert Williams playing well. Robert Williams start playing 24 minutes. They already split the minutes. Jrue Holiday, decent game in 25 minutes, and Danny Advia had a decent game in 25 minutes. It was such a blowout. Not much going on. Last game of the night, the Toronto Raptors, they got blown out by the Clippers. The Clippers, they're still playing hard, so that's good. Jamal Shead need to be rostered for assists, threes, with Emmanuel quickly out. I don't know when he's gonna be back, but this guy he can average 7 assists a game. RJ goes 5 for 19. That's his problem. Scotty had 12 assists. That's great. And Brandon Ingram had 18 points. And with 1 steal and block, he's really getting those defensive stats. So that's what I like to see. And for the LA Clippers, Kawhi, every single game, this is the definition of consistency. 7 for 8 from the line, right? 48% from the field is okay. 27 points. Good start. Brook Lopez popped off. 2 steals and 5 blocks with 3 threes. Threes and blocks. I think it's very simple with him. John Collins, if you want rebounds and points, I think we could still use him. I think it's maybe the first back. He's a little bit rusty. And Derrick Jones Jr., you stream him for defensive stats. Unfortunately, he got 0 here, and Darius Garland had 24 points, stealing the block with 5 threes. And Benedict Mathurin, let's not forget about him. You could definitely stream him for points and free throws if he's on the waiver wire. But with everybody back now, yeah, he may not have like the crazy usage. That's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.